Hello beautiful people and welcome to another video. I got these two antique French bedside tables. I believe these are original, and the lady that I got these from, she decided that they just didn't really match the decor, so she decided to sell them. They are in a decent condition and she actually stripped some of the varnish off already, but obviously I need to take the paint off. And this lovely wallpaper thingy from the inside. It's definitely very nice quality, and I can't wait to see what it looks like without the paint and varnish on. Obviously it's been in storage for quite a long time because it's a mess. I found similar ones for several £100 each. Alright, let's see what I can do with these. I'm not sure if these are original, but they are solid brass, so I'll keep them because it looks like they should be. The steamer definitely makes it easier. So I'm a bit puzzled because this looks perfectly fine, so I don't know why someone covered this, unless they thought this was actually pretty. That was easy for a change. Looks like this needs to be re-glued. Seems like everything is going great, right? Pretty straightforward project. Well, this wouldn't be flipping drawers video if it was. So what I didn't know was that there was a little bit of veneer on the fronts of the drawers. This entire bedside table, both of them, are made from solid wood. Every single thing other than the veneer on the front of the drawer. And I was pretty confident that there was no veneer on this whatsoever, and I'm just about to find out that I was wrong. Looks like they used whatever they had. So this was a pretty dumb mistake. Fortunately, it's really not a big deal. This is made from all sorts of types of wood, and I don't have the same exact veneer, but I do have quite a lot of cherry veneer, and I can find the bit with similar grain and I'll just replace it on both fronts of the drawers and it will be fine. Again, this is quite interesting. Looks like, yeah, this is oak. I think this is spalted beech. This looks like oak. Can't tell what this is underneath, but there is some sort of veneer. And I think this is mahogany or sapele. It's an interesting combination. I'm just going to find the right pieces of veneer for the fronts right now, so I don't need to worry about it later. So this looks like a seam, which is the nicest grain, but I don't want this seam. So I'm just gonna move it a bit and I think just use this portion. I'm going to use some tape so I don't make a mess when I'm applying contact adhesive. Every time when I think I've got a simple project that will not take me much time, things like this happen. I think this is what keeps you humble. I've burned through the veneer more than once before, as most people have, and I still haven't learned, so this is my punishment. This is just some generic contact adhesive that I got from a big box store. And because this is liquid, so you can just apply it with a brush, and that makes it super easy. To apply contact adhesive to the veneer, you can try and use a steamer to straighten it out, but the reason I'm using the tape is because it allows me to hold it down and makes it super easy to apply the adhesive, but also it protects the other side of the veneer and the edges, so just keeps it very clean. I made a little hole before just to align the screw with the veneer and to make sure that I was actually placing it in the right spot. I don't know how that happened, but I think I got a little bit of that contact adhesive on the front of the veneer, but don't worry, you can remove it with acetone if that happens to you. Before I cleaned up the edges with a router, I used a utility knife to remove most of the veneer. So this is looking great and I'm very happy with the grain, but obviously the color of the veneer is different from the rest of the wood on the bedside tables. But fortunately it's not just one color, so I think it should be not that difficult to actually blend it in with the rest. The inside is in a pretty good condition, but obviously because there was that wallpaper stuck to it, it's very sticky and there's a lot of glue. So I'm gonna clean this, and I think I'll use some acetone and probably some of this stain will come off as well. I'm not gonna stain the whole thing this purplish color. I don't think this is the original color anyway. This was literally perfect. It got rid of all the glue and it actually cleaned the inside, so I don't really need to do anything with this other than wax it or just put some clear coat on it. So both of the drawers are fixed. The grain doesn't look modern or like brand new, it actually looks like it belongs on those bedside tables, so I'm very happy with these. As you're watching me scrape this bedside table, which Took forever. I'm gonna tell you about the mid-century modern challenge that I'm doing at the end of this month. 11 other creators will be joining me, and the goal is to either restore, upcycle, or build from scratch a mid-century modern piece of furniture. Those are the biggest names on YouTube, and this is gonna be super exciting.
2,000 years later.
Do you know what? I think that this is actually natural because this line is not straight. So if they glued this panel from two different pieces of wood, it wouldn't look like this. So I think this is the sapwood, but the difference in color is just striking. It just looks like two different species of wood. I did a little bit of sanding and I took a well-deserved cut break. Somehow I didn't record most of it, but Hugo stopped by for some cuddles and snacks, so this is just the end of it. And then I did a little more scraping and sanding because, you know, it's fun. As always, huge thank you to all of you wonderful and generous people for supporting my channel and what I do. I really appreciate it. And if you want to do it, you can find all the links in the description. You can buy me a coffee via Buy Me a Coffee, use my Amazon wishlist link, or hit the super thanks button, and it really makes a huge difference. And guys, if you don't follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I make lots of posts that I can't really make on YouTube, so if you want to stay up to date with what I'm doing, give me a follow. And as always, shout out to the channel members, you guys are awesome. This needs regluing. It looks like there was just a little bit of glue, so I'm gonna scrape off the old one and I'll apply some glue and clamp this together, and that should do it. I'm not sure what happened to the audio, but it just didn't record. Anyhow, I'm basically just replacing the old glue with new, and I'm gonna clamp it together and let it dry. The other bedside table was fine, there was no loose bits, so it's just this one that I had to reglue the top and the bottom panel. I didn't do a lot of sanding in my last two videos, so for those of you who enjoy it, you're welcome. I'm just gonna finish this with some hand sanding, and then I'll start thinking about what to do as far as the finish. For a change, I think I'm not going to stain this, but I think I'll try to match the color of the drawers to the rest of the grain, because the grain is actually very similar, and it might look alright. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little bit of woodworm damage. I've seen a couple of other spots like here, so I'm just gonna use the woodworm treatment spray. There's another one here. I didn't show this in the video, but I just used some wood filler for those little bits, but it wasn't a lot. So this top is completely loose. There's no glue whatsoever. So I'm gonna put some in with a syringe. So I still have a little bit of hand sanding to do, actually quite a lot, but I wanted to see if I can match the color on the veneer to the rest of the wood on the bedside table, and I used all of the closest colors of water-based stains that I had, but none of them really worked. So I've done as much sanding as I can do without going mad, and it's been at least 10 hours of sanding. And there is a little problem, because when someone made these originally, I don't know if you can see this, but this color is completely different from this. And when I apply the finish, it's gonna make the difference even more apparent. And I'll demonstrate. I think that this is the same wood. It looks like it's the same wood. Basically, this is just the sapwood. That's why the color is so different. But look what happens when I apply some mineral spirit. This is a completely different color. And when I put some on the leg, this is even darker. So if I want to keep this natural, it's gonna look a bit odd. And I don't know what to do. I don't want to stain this, and I don't want to cover the grain. This is all very similar, so it's not a problem on this one. Anyhow, I'm just gonna wipe this all down. This is alternative to mineral spirit. This one has no odor and it's non-toxic. That's why I'm not wearing a mask. And it will clean the wood, but also kind of condition it. So if you don't want to spend a lot of money on wood conditioner, you can just use mineral spirit. As you can see, this color is slightly different from the rest of the bedside table, though it isn't just one color. But I'll need to come up with an idea how to match this to the rest. This is my favorite thing about working with natural wood. When you apply, whether it's oil or lacquer or whatever other top coat you choose, it just makes the grain pop and it looks so cool. I really like the color of this wood and I'm very happy I didn't stain it, but I just need to figure out how to color match the drawers to the rest of it so it looks cohesive. And I think the fact that it's just not one color but different shades of brown and gold, plus that sapwood, which I actually quite like and I'm glad I didn't try to color match it. I think it's gonna be a bit easier to color match the drawers because it's not just one color, if you know what I mean. So the next day when the lacquer was dry, I went over it with a brown paper bag and a tack cloth, and then I used lacquer toner in light walnut to color match the fronts of the drawers, and I think this was the closest match. Then I sprayed clear lacquer over everything and gave it a nice and wet coat, and I was pretty happy with the result. If you remember, the drawers were made from different species of wood, but I didn't try to color match them and I just kept them natural because that's how they were made and I think it was kind of cool. I used these brush tip markers to cover a slight crack that was in the top that someone filled with wood filler, whoever made this, and that did the trick. I cleaned up the original hardware and that was pretty much it. And by the way, this is something that one of you recommended. It's supposed to prevent brass from tarnishing, so we'll see how that works. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.